1. Under the scope of work portion of the contract, which items should be included? Work and materials, both provided and not provided by the contractor. 2. According to Chapter 489, a disciplined contractor who is locally licensed may challenge a local building department's recommended penalty for board action to the Construction Industry Licensing Board within 60 days of issuance. 60 days. 3. All of the following are examples of inventory control benefits except helping control budget. Inventory control benefits. Helps track material on hand. Helps avoid construction delays. Minimize investment in capital inventory. 4. Recording of income that has been earned but no cash has yet been collected will produce an increase in accounts receivable. 5. Accrued expenses have been underscored when no invoice has been received. Incurred but not paid or received. 6. How does a yearly evaluation of an employee help both the owner and employee? Evaluate performance and expectations. 7. In the case of material purchases, vendor invoices should be matched with underscore prior to payment of the invoice. Receiving notices. 8. An effective procedure for enhancing collections and payments on accounts is to provide discount incentives. 9. Each licensee of the department is solely responsible for notifying the department in writing of the licensee's correct mailing address and phone number. 10. The completed contract method of accounting is being used on a total contract of $500,000. The percentage of completion is 86%. What is the recognized revenue for the project? $0. 11. Typically, any addenda issued by the architect during the bid process will be transmitted to all who are known to have received bidding documents. 12. By writing and maintaining current job descriptions of the essential duties of each position, the employer is able to defend decisions about the qualifications of what type of applicant under ADA. Disabled applicant. 13. All of the following are current assets except equipment. 14. Documentation is key to OSHA compliance. Training documentation describing the presenter should describe the individual as certified, competent, or otherwise qualified in the subject. 15. Written purchase orders for materials are a simple control device to avoid misunderstanding on purchases. 16. According to the Florida statutes, a mediated complaint resolution, properly reported to the board, will result in no further action if the complainant and subject record an acknowledgement of satisfaction within 60 days of said report. 60 days. 17. When an expense is paid in the current period, but will also benefit future periods, i.e. a 3-year insurance premium, the payment should be recorded as a prepaid asset. 18. According to Contractor's Manual, bid bonds are generally provided by an insurance company. 19. According to Contractor's Manual, in the event of litigation arising out of a fraudulent construction lien, the prevailing party is entitled to all of the following except licensing fees. 20. A corporation has a need to fill a particular position in their company that has very specific requirements. They need to make sure which of the following is addressed in the ad. Exact minimum requirements. 21. When preparing financial statements, accruals are used to record income earned but not yet received. 22. in order to comply with EPA asbestos regulations, when demolishing commercial, industrial, publicly owned building, or residential structures with more than 4 dwelling units, notification must be sent to FDEP at least how many working days prior? 10 days. 23. Which of the following factors do not affect production? Cost of fuel. 24. A subcontractor has a standard form of agreement between contractor and subcontractor with the prime contractor on a project. The subcontractor can terminate the contract in each situation except when the contractor and subcontractor cannot settle a controversy or claim. 25. When a change order, which is not a construction change directive or a minor change, is issued, who must sign it? Only the contractor, owner, and architect. 26. Billings that have been mailed out by a firm, but for which payment has not been made are called accounts receivable. 27. When determining a bid for a job, which is considered a fixed overhead expense. Office staff. 28. A contractor performed work for the owner of a building knowing the work was contrary to laws, codes, and rules. The contractor did not notify the architect. The engineer worked closely with the architect in producing the plans and specifications. All work was done as per plans and specifications. Who shall assume full responsibility for the work? Contractor. 29. What is prepared by an architect ordering additional work to a contract that does not require the contractor's signature? Construction change directive. 30. A valuable method of preparing a cash budget for builders who have wide variations in business volume from month to month is the cash movement method. 31. A contract states the contractor will be held liable for all damages suffered due to poor workmanship by the contractor. There is no state law dealing with this situation. Generally, would the contractor's contractual liability insurance pay for the liability the contractor assumed in the contract? Yes, because the liability arose out of a specific contract signed by the contractor. 32. The Veterans Re-Employment Act applies to all employers. 33. Excluding employees working for airlines or railroads, can a person in Florida be required to join a union as a condition of employment? No. No matter what type of job it is. 34. What prepared document would contain current information about revenue that is due to a company? Aging of accounts receivable. 35. Which of the following is true? All other things being held constant, an increase in net income will increase both assets and owner's equity. 36. In projects involving architects, engineers, contractors and subcontractors, building-related permits are generally the responsibility of the contractor. 37. A previously unrecognized error or omission in the contract documents resulted in damages on a project. According to AIA A201, the contractor is not liable to the architect or the owner. 38. A person may engage in business under a fictitious name by filling out an application for registration of fictitious name and registering the name with the Division of Corporations. 39. All of the following are considered construction activities as described in the Workers' Compensation Statute except the manufacturing of materials used in construction work. Activities under workers' compensation. Architectural work that is included in a construction contract. Landscaping for new construction. Carpet laying in new construction. 40. According to Florida unemployment compensation laws, reports must be submitted quarterly. 41. Which of the following is an advantage of an S corporation? Elimination of double taxation. 42. Which of the following is true regarding partial occupancy of a building? Partial occupancy does not constitute acceptance of non-complying work in that portion occupied unless otherwise agreed to. 43. If the current ratio is too low, it may be raised by replacing short-term borrowing with long-term borrowing. 44. An example of an accounts payable source document is an invoice. 45. The Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, ADA, protects employees with disabilities from differential treatment. 46. What areas should be addressed in a change order to a contract? Scope of work, change in contract amount, time adjustment. 47. Current liabilities include the portion of long-term debt for equipment purchases that is payable within 365 days. 48. All the following are general overhead fixed expenses except union welfare. 49. If a contractor wants to insure construction materials completely, from the time the materials leave the place of shipment until the materials reach their destination and are installed, the contractor should purchase an installation floater. 50. According to Contractor's Manual, which party has lien rights? Laborer for subcontractor. 51. A_ is an implied warranty in construction that the work completed be usable for the intended purpose. Warranty of habitability. 52. What are the basic criteria for categorizing an item as a fixed asset? The item is not available to be turned into cash within 1 year. 53. The lien law requires that any person who receives funds for constructing or altering improvement, use the funds to pay others for services and materials provided in connection with the project. A person who does not comply with this requirement may be criminally prosecuted under the lien law for felony and subjected to discipline under the contractor licensing law. 54. A limited license may provide service only to the indigent, underserved, or critical need populations within the state. 55. Assets available to the contractor within 1 year are called liquid assets.